I have some specific comments here. I have some more general ones. I want to do these specific because they relate directly to the ACS, which, let me say, I marvel at the richness of the data set, but I find it deplorable, despicable that the ACS limits its use. Having said that, I no longer make contributions to the ACS because I really do not find that acceptable. I think, Dan, going to your comments about it, I don't know when it becomes ecologic, semi-ecologic, but I'd really like for you to say a little bit more about what you said were some of the individual level variables, which I think are available only on a portion of the population and are pretty skimpy. I'd ask people here, do you remember how much lettuce you ate in 1980? How about 1990? You can take any other variable like that. Do you in fact even recall your income in 1980 or 1970? Do you recall your parents' income? All of those are important factors. But Dan, could you really say a little bit more about the ACS cohort, which it was assembled not for this purpose at all, but fortuitous for us. It was assembled for other purposes, and carry it forward, because I think there's key information in there that sometimes we overstate in terms of just how strong that data is in terms of smoking, income, place of residence, so on. So with that as an opening, maybe you could respond.
Thanks, Roger. It's probably a good idea to characterize what the ACS cohort was originally set out to do and what types of information was included in the original design. Cohort was enrolled just around 1980, I think between 1979 and 1982 to be precise, over a period of several years. There are over 1.1 million people in the cohort. The questionnaire for the ACS cohort, if you were a cohort member, Roger, we would invite you to an interview and ask you all kinds of questions about how much lettuce you ate and those sorts of things that you were mentioning. Record them all. But
it was self-enrolled, right?
Yeah, self-selected. So let me come to the representative. This is a separate issue. So if you look in the first report we did for HEI in 2000, you'll see the entire questionnaire right there. That's all of the data that you have on each of the individuals. Now, there are some limitations. Smoking data is largely at baseline. There is some data that is gained by follow-up, particularly residence histories, on a subcohort of approximately 200,000 individuals, where we know the residents in 1980, follow-up in 1990, a decade later, where you lived, and then every few years through to the present time, every house that you may have moved into. That's good for getting residence histories and getting retrospective exposure profiles that might be time-dependent, so that's one strength of that sub-cohort.
That's about 20% of the total?
It's about 200,000 people in round figures out of a total of 1.1 million. So that's roughly what the cohort is designed to do. There are at least 140 individual covariates that we've been working with. So it's fairly rich in terms of individual data. Is that enough just to get the discussion going?